like that. So we ain't gonna have to chat. Chat not gonna be on there. All right. This is the first Key and Kel show. That's Key. This is Kel. And our first show is based on, we're going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk about the beginnings of relationships and what to look for. And what would you add to the mix?
I think it would be how to sustain a relationship. Um, I think you have to go back to the beginning. So that's what I believe.
Okay, what should a woman look for in choosing a mate?
I believe that it's important for the individual to know something about themselves first. I think that we often go from one situation to another without really spending any time to get to know you. So I think it's important that you learn to love you first, and then from there you can, you know, write out, plan out, think about what you need to have in a mate once you get to learn yourself. So everybody's list is going to be different, um, but I think the main thing for a female to look for in a mate is someone who is willing to protect. Um, and that involves, standing up for her rights. For, in this society, you have single mothers, so standing up for her and her kids' rights. Um, with that being said, I think it's important that the woman want a man who is willing to take, you know, to be there for her and some type of male or father figure to her kids.
Okay. And on the male side, I would say that a male needs to try to find some. The old school would say you need to find someone who resembles his mother, and that's pretty much based on the relationship that you have with your mother. So if you have a strong relationship with your mom, you should strive to find someone with the same attributes because it's a lot of qualities that a lot of the youth don't have today that the old school need to teach them on, as far as cleaning and uh, just maintenance as far as the car around the house, a skill set that, we need to have as far as looking for somebody. That's one thing. And, you know, bring something to the table. You're looking for someone who resembles, someone who's gonna be the future to him. If choosing a mate, is this someone that will be the mother of my children one day? Is this the woman that I'm gonna, as I guess the Beyonce or the youth would say, put a ring on it. So that's what it's about. And it's in my opinion, all this is based on her opinion and my opinion. And
Because we're not experts, but we
we,
real.
yeah, in a sense we are because it's wisdom you learn as you travel this thing we call life. And you don't need a degree for that. That's where this gray hair comes from. So, you know, back to the relationships. I mean, you have to change your mindset and what you're looking for. Is this somebody I want to invest my time going into the future with? And that's how your premise should be. The end game should be merged, even though people have different views of that. But I say that because what are you showing your kids? If you want your daughters to be one day married, don't you have to show them what that looks like? How you feel about that?
I agree. I agree that the ultimate goal, because this is the way that this particular society is set up. When you go into a relationship with someone, it should be, not to, with all this going on out here, um, it shouldn't be just to lay down with somebody. It should
Right.
be an ultimate goal of, I want to, you know, um, carry on a relationship, become an exclusive relationship, and then the next step would be marriage. Um, I, Going back to what we were talking about in terms of what you should be looking for, you brought up a good point in regards to looking at what the how the female relates to your mother. In the same aspect, I think it's important that you evaluate the relationships that the for female that the male will have with his mother, and likewise for the males, the type of relationship that the female will have with her father, because that will give you a clear indication of how that person will ultimately treat you. If that male, doesn't have any respect for his mother, the person who, was instrumental in bringing him into the world, then the likelihood of him treating you well is going to be very thin.
Okay,
So,
I take that. And then I know, some people saying, well, my dad wasn't in my life, or I don't know my father. And that's just, if you don't have your, you didn't have your dad in your life, or you don't have your dad in your life, as a male, and I'm coming from a male perspective, as a male, you can, well, my wife always said, you can break the cycle. You can, the day you have your children, be in their life and teach them the things that you wanted your father to teach you or show you. Same thing for the female. So your dad wasn't in your life, or your mom didn't have, somebody to show you what a dad looks like in your life. You can seek in your mate. That's another thing. You can seek in your mate what you would want, what you would want your dad to have shown you. You know, and
true,
just keeping these things true to your heart.
true. And hopefully along the way, if you didn't have a dad that was present full time, then hopefully there was some type of male role model, positive male role model in your life, whether it be, if you were in school and you had a teacher or a counselor or a, um, you know, coach or uncles, older cousins, hopefully somewhere along the line you were able to see some type of positive male role model.
Yeah. And there are plenty around your community. So all you have to do is sit back and observe. It's plenty. You see the guys on the corner, but you also see the guys with the UPS uniforms on and the FedEx uniforms on, the McDonald's uniforms on. You know, that's, the TV tell you that that's not the person to build your future on. But in fact, it is. Because those are the things that you want to show your kids. This guy will get up every day and go beat that clock at McDonald's for that check and bring that check home to his family. That's what you want. And from there, if you don't go, come up in the infrastructure of, like, say for instance, McDonald's, you can take your skill set somewhere else.
Hmm. Hmm. I agree. Um, I also think that, we um, need to get back to learning one another. And what I mean by that is, having the same expectations for oneself that you would have for another. Like, for instance, when you asked me in the very beginning about what should a female look for in a mate, Um, a lot of females I know would probably say someone who can um, financially take care of the family. And although that might be an important aspect, you don't want someone who is just laying around and doesn't have any goals or ambitions. And like I said at first, you know, you everybody's list, if you're looking at what you can contribute, is going to be different for what they're seeking in a mate. Um, but it should be, in my opinion, equivalent to what you bring to the table. So if you have expectations of some man, as a female taking care of you, then that's you need to be bringing the same thing to the table. Because if something should happen to that male, and you know you get together in the beginning, and he's taking care of everything, and with the way in which the economy is, something should happen to his job or whatever, and then what you're going to do. So it's important that while you're looking at all of these aspects, that it's not just one or two, or you know what I mean. You're looking at it holistically, being smart about it, and making sure that you're independent but not
dependent.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And let's take a look at the old paradigms where, let's say the man, his job was enough to pay all the bills, and the wife was able to stay home and rear the kids. But she still had a hustle at home. She sold Avon or Tupperware or Murray Kay. And some, just coming out of their house has rose to executive levels where they, in some cases, making more than their husband. They started from home. So it's all about a plan and working together and being honest, open, and truthful to one another. And, have that think tank, as we call it, come together with ideas. And, some work and some don't. But, the ones that get voted through, you give it a try. And hence we here, the Kel Show. So, this is all a part of, you know, building your legacy. This is just another notch in our belt uh, for something that looks like people that looks like us. If other people are interested, we welcome them as well, because the knowledge is for everybody as it comes to relationships. No matter what race you are, you still you seek to be loved at the end of the day, and that usually comes from a relationship and a love from another person. So you have to work. For me, you have to work on yourself first. Everything starts with you and what you present to the world. And is that worthy to be loved? That's what I have to tell my brother that passed away December 25th. Rest in peace, Rio. I talk to him a lot about, putting a good product out there. And the product is yourself. And shop that around, you know. And a woman would see your work, and you can, the sky's the limit for you, once you know your work. And time tells everything. You can't rush into, a relationship. You can't rush into marriage. You shouldn't rush into kids. But, everybody has urges, you know, and you just need to talk about it, communicate, and in most cases, protect yourself.
Sure. And the ultimate goal, that word relationship, we're talking about man and woman, because that's what we have. But in order to have, a successful relationship, that could be anything. That could be you and your best friend. That could be you and your coworkers, you know, but the only way that you are going to have successful ones is to have some type of example of what a relationship is around you. Whether
Exactly.
you had siblings growing up, or you had mommy and daddy, whether that be your biological or your stepfather, or stepmother, but you have to have some form of relationships, socialization skills in order to know how to communicate, in order to, know how to obtain trust, um, like we talked about, knowing your worth. All of those are aspects of building any type of um, relationship. So I think that word is bigger than what people realize, and it's important. So I did also say that we are not experts, but the reason why we feel like we're somewhat qualified to provide, to come in front of you is because, we've known each other for a long time, and we've had our ups and downs, and anyone who goes into a relationship when it's new and fresh, everybody's all lovey-dovey and everything's all gravy and this, that, and the third, and 9 times out of 10, you're not being real with one another. But then when you settle in the relationship, you get to learn all these different things about one another. So the true test of time is what you've been through with that individual. Anybody can be at your side when things are going gravy, but when it's some rain there, when it's some obstacles and hurdles that you have to deal with, if they ready to run away, then that's a problem. And so for me, what qualifies us is that, we have been through hell and back to a degree, with all of the, the immaturity along the way, and, you know, um, just differences in, opinions, and even beliefs at times. So, we stand firm on communication, loyalty, trust, um, and working through whatever may come, and having one another's back. So, that's what I believe qualifies us to, come before you and, try to answer some of your questions for those who are interested, and even those who can, supply us with some wisdom of their own.
As well as what my wife always says, be the example that you wish to be.
For sure, for sure, we do try to live in such a way that is most apparent to those we have rendered, our children. But also, we are truly into uplifting our community. And um, our community happens to be that of a black community. So we try to make sure that we are uplifting, all people, but we want to empower those that we have heritage from. So that's what it's about for us.
That's what it's about. And this is our first telecast, our first live stream. We're going to try to do this at least once every 2 weeks. You can, you want to tell them where they can reach you?
Sure. I can be reached if you want to, certainly we're on Facebook, and that's where we'll do most of our
We're on Facebook.
marketing. For me on Facebook, I'm at KIONNA, so happy to be farms. In terms of my email, you can hit me up on Mrs. MRS KIONNA, KIONNA farms, PHARMS at gmail.com. And we'll have some other avenues in the future.
And for me, you can hit me up at Facebook Outlaw 5800 on Instagram, MARKEL Farms, PHARMS on Facebook, and Mr. 101 3000 on YouTube. Subscribe. If you like anything, like the hit the like button. Looking for some more subscribers to get better. tell us what we need to do as far as the production side of the game. We learning as we go as well. Some things we know, but we don't know everything. So you can hit us and tell us what we can do. Uh, we're gonna have people, call in as well as guests. So, like I said, this is our first show. Let's hang on in there with us. And as the great Don Cornelius used to say, in passing, we give you love, peace, and soul. So with that, we out.